Welcome to the Eye Bank of Ethiopia. We will tell you about mission and values of the Eye Bank of Ethiopia, history of the Eye Bank of Ethiopia, what we do, who is who at Eye Bank of Ethiopia, a look at the future. To contribute to the prevention and control of avoidable blindness by facilitating the donation, retrieval, processing, and equitable distribution of cornea and related tissues for transplantation, research, and other medical needs nationwide and regionally. The Eye Bank of Ethiopia is dedicated to restore the sight of corneal blind patients by providing quality tissue for transplant, ensuring a stringent quality assurance, and maintaining a high standard of sterility techniques. The Eye Bank of Ethiopia is a semi-autonomous non-profit organization established with a tripartite agreement signed among the Ministry of Health, Addis Ababa Health Bureau, and Orbis International. The physical facility that was made available by Minilik Second Hospital for the Eye Bank was refurbished and equipped by 2002 and officially inaugurated on June 28, 2003 by His Excellency Grimaldi Georgis, President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. The Eye Bank of Ethiopia is the only eye bank in all of East Africa and second only to eye banks in South Africa. It is incorporated as the 45th member of the International Federation of Eye and Tissue Banks. It is governed by a board of trustees where members are represented from different ministries, professional societies, university, and prominent personalities. The Eye Bank was designed in accordance to a comprehensive development plan created by the International Federation of Eye and Tissue Banks, known as IFETB, providing guidance on construction, equipment procurement, medical standards, and operating procedures. The Eye Bank maintains current accreditation status, validating compliance with IFETB standards for one of its national member eye banks. There are currently an estimated 1 million blind people in Ethiopia. 300,000 of these suffer from corneal blindness. Of these, close to 100,000 can be benefited by corneal transplantation. The problem affects mainly the young and the productive age groups, resulting in many millions of years of blindness. We provide cornea and other sight-saving tissues for transplant surgery. A corneal transplant is a surgery which replaces the opaque cornea with a clear cornea obtained from a human donor eye. Corneal transplantation is a sight-saving procedure.
ስሜ ኬኔዲ አለማየሁ ይባላል። ለ4 ዓመት ያህል ትምህርቴን አቋርጬ ነበር ምክንያቱም ማየት ባለመቻሌ ነው። አሁን በአይን ባንክ ሁኔታዎች ተመቻችተውልኝ ከማስለጋሽ የተገኘውን አይን ብሌን ተተክቶልኝ ማየት ችያለሁ።
Corneal transplantation restores sight. The process of corneal transplantation begins with corneal donation, and this is not possible without the provision of a viable, disease-free donor cornea. The Eye Bank is a modern facility which holds the responsibility of donor evaluation, donor preparation, tissue retrieval, donor tissue evaluation, serological screening, preservation and storage, equitable distribution of tissue, and education and training. Tissue recovery begins with a generous tissue donation at time of death, a time of grief. Donors known to have conditions presenting a potential hazard to technical personnel or recipients are excluded. Donor physical examination is performed before all ocular tissue is recovered. After identification of donor and matching with paperwork, a thorough physical examination of cadaver is done for evidence of findings that preclude tissue recovery. Findings are clearly filled in standard formats. Ocular plain light examination is done after the donor physical examination to rule out ocular contraindications. Prior to excision, ocular donor surgical prep and drape procedure is performed, and a sterile surgical field is set up for the appropriate surgical procedure. Blood sample is taken using formal puncture. After performing surgical scrub and donning of sterile gloves and sleeves, surgical excision is performed. Conjunctival excision is done using forceps and tenotomy scissors. Removal of conjunctival remnants is done. In situ excision of cornea is done. The excised cornea is transferred into storage media, that is, Optisol GS media, immediately. At the end of the procedure, the posterior pole is capped with a plastic cap to avoid disfigurement. The media is placed in a temporary transport cooler with ice pack for transport to the eye bank. Based on the slit lamp and specular findings, the cornea is graded according to the cornea rating SOP of Tissue Banks International. To provide a consistent specification, each corneal tissue is meticulously evaluated by the medical director. Each layer, if the cornea, is evaluated from front to back and from back to front. We determine the cell density and morphology of the endothelial layer using Conan specular microscope. Cell counts are expressed in cells per square millimeter. Electronic image of slit lamp and specular findings are saved and printed as well. Tissues are serologically screened for diseases. Tests for HIV-1 and 2, hepatitis B and C, and syphilis are routinely performed. A reliable international clinical laboratory outsourced by the eye bank performs the serological tests before tissue is released for transplant. All ocular tissue is stored aseptically in separate vials. The usual storage media used at our eye bank for cornea tissue is Optisol GS from Bausch and Lomb. All tissue is labeled with a donor number and sealed with hot gun before tissues are sent for transport in a cold chain. The eye bank holds record of cornea requests from different surgeons and distributes cornea equitably. A periodic in-service training is provided for the eye bank staff, both locally and internationally. The eye bank technicians have received adequate training in eye banking, both locally and abroad. The senior eye bank technician and the medical director are trained in Prague, Czech Republic, at the International Training Center of IFETB. The eye bank is now in position to receive and train other eye bank personnel for local needs and for other regional eye banks. Ocular tissue is prepared for surgical use, adhering to strict standards of Tissue Bank's international standards of procedures. Tissues are serologically screened for diseases. Tests for HIV-1 and 2, hepatitis B and C, and syphilis are routinely performed. Donors must meet medical and social history criteria. Every donor chart is reviewed by the medical director. The Eye Bank of Ethiopia is an accredited member of the International Federation of Eye and Tissue Banks. Let us take a look at our staff. Board of Trustees, Medical Director, Manager, Senior Eye Bank Technician, Eye Donation Coordinator, Technician, Finance, General Service. Take pledge to donate your eyes. Motivate and educate others about eye donation. In case any day's incidents, motivate the next of kin of the deceased person to donate their eyes. Call our eye bank